Hello and welcome to what is going to be Friday's Road to the Top series. From here on out until this is finished, it's probably only like 10, 11 episodes, something like that. Called Road to the Top Progressions. If you've been noticing on YouTube, if you follow the card game scene with Yu-Gi-Oh!, some other stuff, I don't really know. I only follow Yu-Gi-Oh! As a card game. You'll be seeing a lot of progression series going on where they open packs every week and they try to build a competitive deck, right? And it had me thinking, how can I do something like that with VGC? Hit me. Well, it's not really going to be true random as if I was playing the game itself. It's going to have a random element to it. Using Bulbapedia and its kind of guide of how what you have available before every gym, I will be going through and I will be randomizing, say for Route 1, for instance, because that's what we'll be doing in this episode. I would go right down, put in our wheel, all the random encounter Pokemon for Route 1, and then all of the visible encounter Pokemon for Route 1. And then I would randomize all the random encounters. I'd set the weights appropriately for what they are. Obviously, no dupes. I would set the weights accordingly. So, for instance, with Route 1 on the random encounter wheel, we would only have a 5% chance to get a Hoot Hoot, but we'd have a 40% chance to get a Squovin. Following that, we would go to the next wheel, and the next wheel, so on and so forth. It is going to be a little weird, right? Because some Pokemon are really good with their hidden abilities. What I'll also do is we'll flip a coin for every Pokemon, and then if it's a heads, they'll have access to their hidden ability. Does not mean we have to use it, just means they will have access to their hidden ability. With the wild area, it's going to be its whole own thing. I'm going to probably put it on the wheel or work out something. I'll figure it out when we actually get to that section. The wild area is probably the most complicated part of this because you have access to so much of it before the first gym that it kind of makes this challenge trivial, right? So we'll think of something with the wild area. We'll probably just make it a wheel reward where if I win 3 games, I get to roll the wild area wheel and we get to pick an area that we have access to it, and then we get to randomize the Pokemon that we get from that. A lot of random elements to it, so I really hope that you guys enjoy that. So yeah, then we'll, once we get enough Pokemon, we'll build a team with what we have, and we will go through all the options, right? So I haven't fully decided how I'm going to do fishing encounters with random. I'll probably just lump it into the full random thing, and I'll work something out. Fishing encounters aren't very common, at least to my knowledge, and it'll make it pretty interesting to get some fun Pokemon. So yeah, that's kind of how this is going to work. It'll come out every Friday from here on out, so I can focus on making the Monday teams really, really good, because I'm going to be trying my best and practicing as hard as I can to get really, really good at VGC, because I'm not happy with how I performed in last week's kind of tournament arc. I'm still going to be making the... If it's not already out, I'll still be making the Pokemon Spotlight for that team. That still won't feature any clips because that is how the team performed in a tournament. It performed very poorly. Might be my fault, but hey, it's fine. So yeah, this will be taking over the Friday slot, and I think it's going to be really fun. And I really hope you guys enjoy this because I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot. So yeah, we will hop into the random wheels as soon as I get them all set up. So yeah, see you in the wheels. All right, so after much thinking and deliberation, I think in order to try and pull off a win for this first episode in this first week, I do need to pick Grookey as our starter. We can have Rillaboom and hope to God we get its hidden ability. Because if we don't, we're stuck with Pokemon like probably a Squovent, a Rookidee, a Blipbug, fucking Nickit. Like, at least if we get like Grookey, Nickit is usable because of Unburden. We can do some fun stuff with that. We're pretty much guaranteed a Rookidee. We're guaranteed like a Zigzagoon. Like, I was looking at the Galar Mine Encounters. We could take Inteleon so we could use Steam Engine week 1, but like at the same time, it's not good. And we have like a bunch of this, like there's just not good encounters. So we have to hope we get Rillaboom with Grassy Surge. With that said, Rillaboom. Please? Yes! Okay, good start. Good start. So we get our hidden ability Grookey for the series. We get hidden ability Grookey, which means we have the hidden ability of the entire line. All right. So next up, let me just write this down somewhere. Let me put this in and then we'll go. Honestly, because of that, I'm okay with a lot of the Pokemon that we get because we can do some fun things with them because Rillaboom is really good offensive, but also really good defensive Pokemon. So I'm really, really happy. Okay. Now that I have that written down. Route 1 encounter, most likely gonna be a Squovent. I'm hoping a Caterpie because then we have redirection in the form of Rage Powder from Butterfree as well as Sleep Powder support. Grubbin's probably the worst one. I don't think I can do anything with Grubbin, and Hoot Hoot is Noctowl, which is a gimmick Pokemon, but is still pretty good. So pretty much anything that isn't Grubbin or Blip Bug. Squovent, we know, no, we don't sleep on the big mans. Yeah. Okay, and does Orbeetle have a hidden? Okay, this is one of those Pokemon where we want its hidden as well. This is Telepathy, which is helpful, but so is Frisk, so it doesn't really matter if we don't get it or not. Let's see. We do not get access to Telepathy on Orbeetle. Okay. For the visible encounters on Route 1, we have another chance at getting Squovent. We're most likely to get Squovent. Wooloo's probably the worst one here because Nickit, we can at least do some gimmicky unburden stuff. And we get Corviknight. Okay. This is a Pokemon where we definitely want its hidden ability. And we don't get it. That's really bad. I guess we're gonna have to use Unnerve. Okay, so now we have an interesting part of this wheel because Blipbug and Rookity we can't get again. But we can get Hoot Hoot, Lotad, or Purloin. Probably want Purloin. Can't get that. We have a Lotad. Okay. The Ludicolo. Okay, it doesn't matter what we get here because we'll use Swift Swim either way, even if we have access to a hidden ability or not. Heads, we have access to Own Tempo. Does not matter. We're going to be using Swift Swim either way if we do use Ludicolo. This one as well, we have a really high chance of getting a Squovent. I would love either the Yamper, the Choodle, or the Nickit. Probably going to get a Squovent. We get the Yamper. Okay. This is a Pokemon where I want its hidden ability because competitive is going to be really helpful. God damn it. Okay. That's not good. All right. So on this wheel, I don't think any of these Pokemon are that good. I guess Mudbray is probably the best. Get Machamp, okay. Champ is definitely interesting. It can definitely be used without its hidden ability, so this one doesn't really matter. All right, we have access to its hidden ability. We don't have to use it. Okay, this is a really important wheel. We really want Growlithe or Tyrogue. The rest of the Pokemon are bad. We really want Growlithe or Tyrogue. We really want Growlithe or Tyrogue, and we get We get Obstagoon. Okay, we really want Defiant. Give us Defiant. Give us that hidden ability, baby. Alright, cool. Defiant is good. We have a lot of physical attackers on the team so far, so we are very much baiting Intimidate. On this one, we really want to get Roly-Coly because that gives us access to Steam Engine stuff later. Drillbur would also be really cool. So there's a lot of good Pokemon on this. Timber would be nice because Conkeldurr is at least a good Pokemon. So like Roly-Coly, Timber, or Drillbur, all going to be good. The rest of the Pokemon like Roggenrola, Woobat, and Diglett, not going to be as good. Roggenrola is probably the best one because Gigalith is at least usable. And we get Diglett. Show me, do I get its hidden ability or not? I don't. Great. Oh, cool. No, that's actually still fine. We have access to Arena Trap. Okay. Coming up on our last two. This one probably just want Milcery, so we can at least be doing Decorate shenanigans. Galarian Meowth is okay. And Cutie Fly lets us do Speed Swap, which is alright. I guess. That's not what we wanted. This doesn't matter. We're always going to be using Fluffy no matter what. Does not have access to his hidden ability. Alright. And our last possible encounter. Supersized Pumpkaboo would be very nice. Pikachu would be very nice. And Galarian Meowth would be really nice. Eevee as well. I will give Eevee an idea because Eevee at least would let us like use a whole bunch of different Pokemon. I would have to pick, and I would think about that. But it does give us a lot of options. Ideally, we get a Pumpkaboo though, because at least like that's a really good support Pokemon. But Pikachu's also good, and Galarian Meowth at least lets us do Steel stuff later. And we get small Pumpkaboo. At least we got a Pumpkaboo. At least we get a Pumpkaboo. Okay. Those are all... Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me lose... I don't think this Pokemon has a hidden... Gourgeist. Whatever. Its hidden ability doesn't matter. But we'll flip for it either way, just to see if we have access to it. It's Insomnia. Insomnia does not matter at all. Cool. We don't have access to it either way. Alright. So, our catches are Rillaboom, Orbeetle, Corviknight, Ludicolo, Boltund, Machamp, Obstagoon, Dugtrio, Dubwool, Gourgeist. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. I will see you guys with what team we come up with. Alright, so the battles are going to be done a little bit differently. We're going to commentate them a little bit differently. Normally I do live commentary. For Road to the Top progression, I think I'm going to do post-com, just to kind of give my thoughts as we're going. We have 5 games, like I said. We're going to do 5 games per episode of Road to the Top progression, and then we will give out an award at the end of the episode based on how many wins we get. Obviously the team that we went with Rillaboom, because we have hidden ability. He's the best Pokemon we have. He'll probably be on a lot of the team from here on out. We have Boltund, sadly not competitive, which would have been very, very helpful in a lot of situations, but hey, it is still a good Pokemon to have, at least for the early beginning bit, because it is Strong Jaw. We have Obstagoon, who I decided to got set, even though we do have access to Defiant. I will regret that later. We have Gourgeist, who is small, so unfortunately not as bulky. but does still have access to ally switch. So right now, our only real form of redirection, Ludicolo, who is a good Pokemon, at least in stages of this, and Corviknight, who is on the team to round it out as a Steel type, because all of the other Pokemon that we have access to were kind of bad. So jumping into game 1 here, we lead off with Rillaboom and Boltund, and they lead off with Dusclops and Regieleki, and I assume that they are going to go for Trick Room right off the bat. So I Dynamax my Rillaboom. I realize, oh fuck, I'm not Gigantamax, and I don't fix that for the rest of this episode. I think that was fair. Next episode, if we do use Rillaboom and we are using an offensive fashion, we'll be going to Gigantamax Rillaboom. That first turn, they go for Protect on Regieleki. We Psychic Fangs into it, which is not great. I did want to try and pick up the KO on the Regieleki. On second hand, I maybe should have just used Crunch into that into the Dusclops slot and possibly taken it out with the combination of Max Overgrowth Boom and Crunch from the Choice Band Strongjaw Boltund, but instead I just Psychic Fangs and Regieleki. They go for a Nightshade doing damage into our Rillaboom. On turn 2, we switch into Obstagoon. They go for a Volt Switch on Regieleki into Incineroar, and at this point, I'm like, fuck. I remembered that I was not Defiant, and they set Trick Room here as I go for a Max Airstream because I did not expect to go for a play like that. We get our thing off. We get our Burn Orb at the end of the turn. They go for a Pain Split into our Obstagoon and Parting Shot our Rillaboom as we knuckle into the Registeel, resetting the attack drop on our Obstagoon. And we go for a third drop, dealing good damage in that Dusclops slot. Postcom is different. We go for a Grassy Glide into the Regieleki at -1. That does a ton of damage. At this point, I probably should have just switched out my Rillaboom, but we do go for another third chop. Unfortunately, it does not pick up the KO on the Dusclops, leaving it with a fraction of HP. I have no idea if that's a roll or not. And they just go for another Volt Switch into our Rillaboom. They switch out their Dusclops into our Incineroar. Glacier Dynamaxes. We go for a Glassy Glide into their Incineroar, and they Max Knuckle our Obstagoon, and then Flare Blitz, I believe, the next turn into our Rillaboom, which does... Oh, no, we send out Gourgeist. They have one turn to Trick Room left. We go for a switch into Boltund to reset our stats and restart our stat drops, because we are at -3, I believe, at that point. They go for a Hailstorm into our Boltund, picking up the KO. Trick Room ends this turn. Glacier Incineroar versus Gourgeist and Rillaboom. I go for a Drain Punch in the Incineroar. It does nothing. We gain back a good amount of HP. They go for a Will-O-Wisp into our Glacier. They Flare Blitz our Gourgeist, pick up the KO. And then they Max Hailstorm our Rillaboom, pick up that KO in that slot. Sealing game 1, going into game 2. 0-1. This is also at the point where I realized, oh fuck, I'm on my main account, and I switch to an alt. Alright, so game 2 here, going 0-1. We are against a Regigigas Weezing team, at least that's what I believe they're going to lead, so I will likely, I believe I lead with Gourgeist, and Corviknight, I don't exactly remember right now, but we will see. I lead with Gourgeist and Corviknight, yep. And they lead Thundurus Urshifu, and I'm like, okay, this is an interesting situation. I get to go for a Tailwind here and potentially a Will-O-Wisp into the Urshifu, and they Airstream one-shotting our Gourgeist. At this point, I'm realizing my Gourgeist Small should have been holding a Focus Sash, but it's fine. We do get up our Tailwind after the Wicked Blow. That Tailwind will mean a minimal as we go forward. We Psychic Fangs into the Thundurus, and I'm like, oh fuck, I should have locked into a different move. Because at this point, my Boltund can't leave the field as they Wicked Blow and KO our Corviknight. This game is very, very quick. They go for a... we go for another Psychic Fangs into the Thundurus, missing the KO. They Airstream our Rillaboom, doing about 10 to 8 Dynamax Rillaboom. They then KO us with Wicked Blow, and we lose the game from here because Boltund is not a very good Pokemon. They protect, so they clean 4-0 victory. Going into game 3 here, we are 0-2. We lead Ludicolo Gourgeist against their Moltres and Amoonguss. And I'm like, alright, Amoonguss is useless. It can't do anything to us because pattern moves. We go for a Dynamax, and we go for a Ally Switch, and we go for a Hailstorm into the Moltres, critting it and doing about 40% to the protect, we activate their weakness policy by accident. I realize I should have probably clicked Geyser and then Geyser again into it. They Rage Powder, will not matter. They Airstream our Ludicolo, picking up the KO, obviously, and we Mystical Fired the Amoonguss slot. I really should have just Mystical Fired the Moltres. I expected us to be faster, and then I realized I did not click the correct move. They Airstream into our Gorgeist, picking up the KO. Boltund does fucking nothing here because we Fire Fang into the Amoonguss. I'm really ignoring the Moltres, and I really should not be. And then from here, we lose the game because we just don't have the offense anymore. They Airstream into our Obstagoon, they're at +3 speed. We Fire Fang to the Moltres, critting it, proccing their Berserk. I really wish we could turn there, and they put our Boltund to sleep. And then we lose the game as they go for a Fire Wrath and Giga Drain on this turn to pick up both KOs on Obstagoon. And going into game 4 here, 0-3, we're against a Trick Room team, so I lead Gorgeist and Rillaboom. I frisk and I see that their Indeedee is not holding a Focus Sash and instead holding a Colbur Berry. I use that best for my advantage, and I go for a Woodhammer that crits into the Indeedee that does not pick up the KO. We are max attack, by the way. We Mystical Fire into that slot, picking up the KO on the Indeedee. They send out Torkoal, and they win the game because Torkoal erupts all over our face and KOs fucking everything. Obstagoon and Boltund hit the field. We Dynamax our Boltund in an attempt to try and do something with this game. An Eruption still fucking one-shots us. Boltund is not a very bulky Pokemon, period. Obstagoon obviously cannot win the game from here. Gets one-shot by a Eruption. Well, Torkoal is a problem. And lastly, we go into the final game of this week of battles. They lead Alakazam and Indeedee. They are going for a very early gen strat of going Psychic Spam. They helping hand their Alakazam. They go for Expanding Force. They pick up the KO on the Gorgeist with a crit, and our Ludicolo stays alive. We go for a Max Geyser into the Indeedee, changing the weather to rain. And then we send out a Rillaboom to set the terrain as well. They follow me. We Grassy Glide the Indeedee, picking up the KO. We Max Geyser into the Alakazam, picking up that KO. And at this point, we're in a very commanding position to win this game, especially against no matter what they have in back. They have a Slugor and Salamence. They Dynamax their Salamence. We go for a Max Hailstorm into Salamence, one-shotting it because Salamence has very low bulk, and Ludicolo has a spot-effective move. They Final Gambit into our Ludicolo, killing the Slugor and our Ludicolo in the process. Hey guys, Editor Quinn here. I'm really sorry for the audio cutouts in this episode. I do want to make a quick interjection to say that after I talk about the Slugor knocking out our Ludicolo, I say we get our first win of the week here, and then I go on to explain kind of what's been going on with that episode. So we have very bad Pokemon in the box. We realized that like the first area does not offer you a lot of good VGC Pokemon. For example, our box Pokemon are Orbeetle, Machamp, Dugtrio, and Dubwool. We really just picked the best Pokemon we have access to use on this first week's team. And then I also talk about what the rewards are, because we have one. So for getting one win, we get one reroll in the next episode, and that has to be used in the next episode. I do not get to carry it over. So if I don't use it at all, then it's just gone. If I get 2 wins, I get to pick an area that we've already been to, and I get to spin its fishing wheel. If I get 3 wins, I get to randomize a wild area place and a weather for that wild area, and then I get to get a Pokemon off of that wheel. If we get 4 wins, I get to revisit any area. The reason it's 4 wins and not lower down, because it feels like that's kind of a bad one, is because if we do get a wild area, I get to revisit that wild area. And for 5 wins, I get a free pick of any previous route we've been to, including the fishing on that, even if we haven't got to fish there, and berry trees, which is, I believe, one of the only ways to get Cherubi if we do want to go a Flower Gift Sun route. So that's kind of what I talked about here. Once again, I am really sorry for the audio cutout. I literally just had my mic's notch 1 too low. And I hope that did not affect your viewing experience. Either way, I will see you next week with up past Turffield.